It is funny how a single word can just trigger this automatic visceral response.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, take the word acid. When you hear that, you don't think of skincare. You picture something violently bubbling in a glass beaker in a chemistry lab.
Right, or like industrial strength cleaners.
Exactly. The kind where you need thick rubber gloves, safety goggles, and all the windows open. You certainly don't picture taking a bottle of that liquid, lifting it up to your face, and spraying it directly onto your closed eyelids.
Yeah, just the thought of that triggers this instinctive flinch.
It really does. I remember trying a 10% glycolic acid peel a few years ago, leaving it on maybe a minute too long, and waking up looking like a sunburned tomato.
Oh, no.
So the idea of putting anything with the word acid near my actual eye feels like a profoundly terrible idea.
I mean, it sounds like a fast track to an emergency room visit.
Yeah.
Your corneas and your eyelids are not areas where you want to be running chemical experiments.
No, definitely not. But you, our listener who always seems to be on the hunt for optimal efficiency and a genuine aha moment, you brought us a custom deep dive today.
And it is a fascinating one.
It really is. It's based on this incredibly detailed set of notes compiled by Era Organics, specifically written by Nikki Chase. And this research, it presents us with this massive head-scratching paradox.
It really flips conventional wisdom on its head.
Completely, because the claim here is that putting a very specific acid directly onto your eyelids isn't just safe, but it is actually the ultimate scientifically backed cure for under-eye puffiness and stubborn dark circles.
Which is wild, right? We spend our entire lives protecting our eyes from harsh chemicals, and now we're looking at data telling us that a specific acid is exactly what that incredibly delicate, millimeter-thin skin is actually craving.
The ingredient at the center of this is called hypochlorous acid, or HOCl.
Which, I know, sounds a bit intimidating.
Yeah, it sounds like something you'd use to shock a neglected swimming pool. But we are going to break down the mechanics of why this scary-sounding liquid is actually the secret weapon you've been looking for, and how it completely upends how we think about our daily routines. Okay, let's unpack this.
So the first thing we really need to do is strip away the baggage of the word acid.
Right. It carries so much weight.
It does. But from a purely chemical standpoint, a substance is labeled an acid simply if its pH level falls below a 7 on the scale. That is it.
Just a number on a scale.
Exactly. It doesn't inherently mean corrosive or flesh-eating. In fact, human skin naturally possesses an acid mantle. It's this very fine, slightly acidic film on the surface that usually sits right around a pH of 5.
Oh, interesting. So applying an acid to the skin isn't violating your biology, it's actually matching it.
Precisely.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, black coffee is technically an acid, but what is it about hypochlorous acid specifically that makes it safe enough to literally spray into an open eye?
Well, the secret is that hypochlorous acid is an endogenous molecule.
Endogenous meaning?
Meaning it's not some synthetic compound cooked up in a cosmetics lab. It is a biological product manufactured internally by your own body.
Wait, really?
Yeah. Specifically, it's created by your white blood cells.
Hold on, our immune system is manufacturing acid?
Yes, a specific type of white blood cell called a neutrophil. When your body detects an invading pathogen, like, say, a harmful bacteria or a virus, these neutrophils rush over to the site.
Like first responders.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They essentially engulf the invader and synthesize hypochlorous acid right there on the spot using chloride and hydrogen peroxide.
Wow.
The HOCl acts as an antimicrobial bomb. It tears apart the cell walls of the bacteria and neutralizes the threat. It is literally the frontline infantry of your immune system.
So because it's native to our biology, our skin just recognizes it instantly.
Right. It doesn't treat it as an external chemical threat, which is exactly why it possesses extremely gentle, non-irritating properties.
Okay, but if our own white blood cells are already manufacturing this acid around the clock, I have to ask the obvious question. Why on earth do we need to buy a bottle of it and spray it onto our faces? Shouldn't we already have enough?
It is a totally fair question. But you have to think about the localized environment of your skin, especially the face.
Okay.
Yes, your body produces it internally when triggered, but the local supply in the skin tissue gets completely depleted by constant low-level stress.
Ah, I see.
I mean, we subject our faces to an incredible amount of friction, environmental pollutants, UV exposure, makeup.
So the natural biological defense is just constantly playing catch-up.
Exactly.
Like, I might have a healthy immune system, then I get a terrible night's sleep, seasonal allergies inflame my sinuses, and I spend, 14 hours staring unblinkingly at a harsh blue light monitor.
And your eyes suffer for it.
Right. The local white blood cells in my eye area are just completely overwhelmed.
And that is when things like inflammation set in. So, spraying a topical hypochlorous acid is essentially airdropping biological reinforcements directly onto the battlefield.
I love that analogy.
You're delivering the exact molecule your immune system is already trying to produce, but you're doing it instantaneously from the outside.
That is so cool.
And because of this natural origin, it completely bypasses the need for artificial fragrances, thickeners, or harsh synthetic stabilizers. It fights bacteria and calms the skin without stripping away the natural oils.
Which makes it exceptionally safe for sensitive areas like the eyelids.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's transition from the invisible cellular level to what the listener actually cares about when they look in the mirror at 7 a.m.
The aesthetic results.
Yes.
Yeah.
How does draping these biological reinforcements onto our eyelids translate to erasing dark circles and deflating morning puffiness?
Well, to understand how HOCl fixes the issue, we really need a clear picture of what is structurally failing under the eye in the first place.
Okay, break it down for me.
So when you look exhausted and see those dark shadows, you're usually looking at stagnant blood.
Oh, gross.
I know, but the skin under your eye is the thinnest on your entire body. When microcirculation in those tiny capillary beds slows down due to fatigue, genetics, stress, deoxygenated blood just pools there.
And because the skin is so thin, that sluggish, deoxygenated blood shows through as a dark, bruised-looking shadow.
You got it.
Okay, and what about the physical puffiness, the bags under the eyes?
Puffiness is a physical structural issue caused by fluid retention and localized inflammation.
Right.
When the tissue is irritated, your blood vessels dilate and leak microscopic amounts of plasma and fluid into the surrounding space. Combine that with lying flat on your back for 8 hours where gravity can't pull the fluid down.
You wake up with swollen, inflamed tissue.
Exactly.
Now, the research provided today highlights a fascinating clinical study from 2016 by Nunes and colleagues. They looked at how HOCl interacts with these exact mechanisms.
Yeah, that study is a cornerstone here.
And they found it effectively promotes skin recovery, downregulates the redness, and drastically accelerates the healing of irritated skin.
What's fascinating here is how the source material outlines 4 highly specific mechanical benefits.
Okay, what's the first one?
First, it halts the inflammation right at the cellular level. By neutralizing the inflammatory triggers, the capillaries actually stop leaking fluid, which directly deflates the swelling.
Oh, wow. So it's acting like a microscopic ice pack.
Basically, yes.
Yeah.
And second, it stimulates blood circulation.
So it essentially clears the biological logjam, like a tiny traffic cop getting the microcirculation moving efficiently again.
That's a great way to picture it. By getting things moving, it flushes out that pooled, deoxygenated blood, literally washing away the dark, bruised aesthetic from the inside out.
That is amazing. And the third benefit.
Third, it promotes cellular healing. It accelerates the repair of damaged cells in the stratum corneum, which is the outermost layer of the skin, and that brightens the overall texture.
Okay, and there's a fourth benefit, right?
Yes, and the fourth benefit is perhaps the most counterintuitive one, hydration.
Okay, yeah, that is the one that really threw me.
I can see why.
Because usually when you apply an acne treatment or a traditional acid like salicylic, the entire goal is to dry the area out. You expect the skin to feel, tight and flaky. But Nikki Chase's breakdown explicitly states that HOCl hydrates the skin and locks in moisture.
It comes back to the skin barrier. When your under-eye skin is inflamed, the barrier is compromised.
So it's leaking moisture.
Exactly. It develops microscopic cracks that allow your natural hydration to evaporate, a process called transepidermal water loss.
Right.
By instantly killing the microirritants and halting the inflammation, HOCl allows the skin barrier to seal itself back up. It prevents the dryness that makes fine lines and puckiness look so much more pronounced.
Now, the timeline on this is what I find deeply suspicious, and I want your take on it.
Okay, lay it on me.
The documentation claims that with consistent use, you can see noticeable improvements in 3 to 7 days, and even severe cases resolve in 1 to 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I mean, most eye creams tell you to wait 3 months. How is it acting that fast?
It acts fast, precisely because the body doesn't have to break it down, convert it, or figure out what to do with it.
Oh, because it's native.
Exactly. If you put a complex botanical extract on your skin, your cells have to metabolize it. When you apply HOCl, you are handing the cells a molecule they already speak the language of. It goes to work the millisecond it makes contact.
Which naturally leads us to the formulation. If the stuff is so powerful, what does it actually look like in the bottle?
It's surprisingly simple.
Because we live in an era of maximalist skincare, right? where a single night serum might have 35 different unpronounceable ingredients, botanical extracts, and chemical preservatives. But looking at the ingredient list for these HOCl sprays, it is completely bare bones.
It is a masterclass in minimalist chemistry. A high-quality hypochlorous acid spray requires a holy trinity of exactly 3 ingredients.
Just agree.
Just 3. First, the active HOCl. Second, purified water, acting as the sterile delivery vehicle. And third, sodium chloride.
Which is just salt.
Just salt. But its role is absolutely critical.
How so?
Well, HOCl is a highly volatile, unstable molecule. It wants to react with things. If you just put it in water, it would degrade rapidly. The sodium chloride acts as a stabilizing agent.
Ah, so it's like a stabilizing peacekeeper.
Exactly. It locks the exact pH balance of the solution in place, usually around that skin-friendly 4.5 to 5.5 range. So the acid remains dormant in the bottle, but becomes active the second it touches your skin.
Because the formula is so stripped down, the concentration of the active ingredient is really where all the power lies.
Absolutely.
And the research lays out 3 specific concentrations that the listener needs to understand before they go buying things online. Because you cannot just blast your face with industrial strength.
No, definitely not.
Yeah.
The baseline you are looking for is 0.01%.
Which sounds like almost nothing. I think we're so conditioned to want, like, maximum strength 10% on our labels.
In traditional skincare, yes. But with an endogenous oxidizer like HOCl, 0.01% is the golden ratio.
Okay, good to know.
It is the perfect, gentle sweet spot for daily under-eye care. It's potent enough to dismantle the bacteria and trigger the anti-inflammatory response, but mild enough that it won't disrupt your healthy microbiome with consistent, twice-daily use.
Okay, then there is the 0.05% concentration. This is a step up.
Right.
The data suggests this is for more noticeable acute irritation. Say you are in the middle of a brutal allergy season. Your eyes are aggressively watering, and the puffiness is actively resisting your normal routine.
Yes, exactly when you'd reach for the 0.05. And finally, the 0.1% concentration.
Which is the strongest.
Yes, and this is considered highly potent in the context of facial skin. The research provides a very clear warning here. 0.1% must be used cautiously and in strict moderation.
So not an everyday toner.
No, it is meant for severe inflammation or actual minor tissue damage. If you use it daily as a casual preventative measure, you risk crossing the threshold from soothing the immune response to actually triggering one.
So what does this all mean for tomorrow morning? How does our listener actually deploy this?
Application is key.
Because fitting a new active ingredient into an already crowded bathroom sink routine is how chemical disasters happen. Walk me through the mechanics of the application.
It is remarkably straightforward, but the order of operations matters. You start with a blank canvas.
Meaning a clean face.
Exactly. Cleanse your face with a gentle, non-stripping cleanser. Pat it dry with a clean towel. Then you apply the HOCl. You can spray it directly, or you can saturate a cotton pad and gently dab it.
Dab, not rub.
Yes, the key instruction from the research is to never rub or drag the pad across the skin.
Because the skin under the eye has almost no subcutaneous fat. If you rub it, you are actively causing the micro tears and inflammation we are literally trying to fix.
Precisely. You're defeating the whole purpose. Once it is applied, you do nothing. You let it sit and air dry completely.
Just wait it out.
Yep. You must let it fully absorb into the tissue.
Timing is also part of the routine here. To hit that 3 to 7 day efficacy window, the protocol is twice a day. Morning application to target and flush out the lymphatic fluid that pooled while you were asleep, and an evening application to clear away the daily environmental pollutants so the skin can repair itself overnight.
That's the ideal schedule.
But here is where I'm putting myself in the listener's shoes.
Uh-oh.
I have spent a lot of money on my hydrating serums, my vitamin C, and my expensive night creams. Can I just spray this HOCl on and immediately start spackling my other products over the top of it while my face is still wet?
Absolutely not.
I figured.
You can layer products, but patience is non-negotiable. HOCl plays beautifully with standard hydrating serums like hyaluronic acid and thick eye creams, provided the HOCl is completely dry first.
And if it isn't?
If you apply a serum over wet HOCl, you are physically diluting that incredibly specific 0.01% concentration, and you are likely altering the precise pH balance that the salt is maintaining.
And the research comes with a massive underlined warning about products you cannot mix this with at all. We are talking about heavy exfoliants, benzoyl peroxide, strong alcohols, and potent acids like glycolic or lactic acid.
We really have to look at the chemistry of why that happens. Hypochlorous acid is an oxidizing agent.
Right.
It works by stealing electrons from bacterial cell walls to destroy them. Things like glycolic acid or benzoyl peroxide are also aggressive chemical agents. If you layer them together, you create a highly reactive chemical environment directly on top of your delicate skin.
Which sounds bad.
It overwhelms the skin's antioxidant defenses.
It causes a complete cellular freakout. Instead of putting out the fire of inflammation, you are essentially pouring gasoline on it, resulting in severe redness, sensitivity, and barrier damage.
Exactly. Keep the HOCl routine boring, gentle, and fragrance-free. Let it be the star of the show.
Here's where it gets really interesting, because if you can manage that, you unlock something truly remarkable.
The broader applications.
Yes. Because once you understand the underlying mechanism that this molecule kills pathogens and halts inflammation at a cellular level, you realize those properties aren't exclusive to the skin under your eyes.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, the alternative uses are incredibly diverse.
This was the part of Nikki Chase's breakdown that completely shifted my perspective. We've spent this whole time talking about dark circles, but HOCl is essentially a biological master key. If it is safe enough for a mucosal membrane like the eye, it can be deployed almost anywhere on the body.
Let's look at wound care, for example. Because it aggressively dismantles bacteria without stinging, burning, or damaging newly forming tissue cells, it is heavily utilized for sanitizing post-surgical incisions.
Oh, wow.
It prevents infection while actually accelerating the skin's repair process.
Which explains why it is so effective for acne. I mean, a breakout is just a localized bacterial infection trapped in a pore, accompanied by a massive inflammatory response. The HOCl destroys the acne-causing bacteria and instantly tells the surrounding tissue to stop swelling, all without the flaking and severe peeling you get from traditional acne treatments.
It is also highly effective for chronic eye irritations like styes. A stye is an infected gland on the eyelid. Traditional medicated drops can be really harsh, but a quick spray of HOCl targets the bacterial overgrowth safely.
The one that really caught me off guard, though, was oral care.
Oh, yeah.
Using an acid as a mouthwash sounds counterintuitive, but your mouth is just another mucous membrane. The research notes it is used to kill the bacteria responsible for gingivitis and bad breath.
It's amazing.
It disrupts the bacterial biofilm on your teeth and soothes inflamed gums simply by doing what your immune system would do anyway.
It is also widely used to manage eczema flare-ups, allergic rashes, and even insect bites. Now, it is crucial to state the official disclaimer included in the source material.
Right, the FDA disclaimer.
Yes. These over-the-counter consumer HOCl products have not been evaluated by the FDA to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any specific disease. However, the underlying topical benefits from managing inflammation and bacterial presence are universally documented and leveraged across multiple medical and cosmetic disciplines.
It is wild to think about the journey we just went on today. We started this deep dive looking at the word acid as a threat.
A major red flag.
Right. The idea of putting it anywhere near our delicate under-eye skin felt like a disaster waiting to happen. But by peeling back the biology from Era Organics research, we've unpacked the reality. Hypochlorous acid isn't a harsh, flesh-eating chemical born in a laboratory. It is a natural, hydrating, circulation-boosting secret weapon.
It acts as a targeted strike force. It resolves the stagnant, deoxygenated blood that causes those dark, bruised circles, and it signals the cellular inflammation to shut down, releasing the trapped fluid that causes puffiness.
And it does it all with just 3 ingredients. For you, the listener, planning your routine tomorrow, stick to that 0.01% golden ratio for daily use. Do not rub the skin, just spray or dab. Let it dry completely before you apply your moisturizers. And keep it far, far away from your heavy chemical exfoliants.
You know, it leaves you with a really profound thought to mull over regarding biomimicry.
Oh, so?
Well, consider the sheer elegance of human biology. We spend endless amounts of time, energy, and money searching for the next exotic, complex chemical compound to solve our aesthetic issues.
Right. We engineer these massive 40-ingredient serums in high-tech labs.
Exactly. But it turns out the ultimate, most effective solution for protecting and repairing our most delicate skin might just be bottling up the exact same biological defenses our white blood cells have been quietly manufacturing since the dawn of human evolution.
It's incredible.
It really makes you wonder what other internal, natural biological processes are happening inside us right now that we could harness to completely simplify our daily lives.
That is a brilliant question to end on. A huge thank you to you, our listener, for bringing us this incredible set of notes and trusting us to unpack it. Keep bringing that curiosity to the table, keep asking the hard questions, and keep sending us the research you want decoded. Because the next time you picture an acid, you won't be picturing a bubbling, toxic beaker. You'll be picturing your own microscopic cleanup crew ready to go to work.